We have our Gen Z panel. Yesterday we had our Gen Z professionals. Today we're skewing a little bit younger with Gen Z students, so these are high school into the early 20s, and we have a really fun multimedia element to this one. So I'm going to introduce our moderator for the session. She'll introduce the panelists. They'll all come up together. We have Andrea Moore, Digital Interim Leadership at Andrea Moore. So please come on up.
Hi, everybody. It's so great to see you. Thanks for coming to our session. We're super excited to talk to you about all things Gen Z. Before we get started, we'd like to thank our session sponsor, User Testing. And we're going to have some content from User Testing during our session today. User Testing gives teams fast feedback from their target audience. Companies like Burberry, Abercrombie & Fitch, Walmart use user testing to understand what's working and what's not across channels and campaigns. For this session, we've used user testing to capture unscripted video feedback. User testing helps you make confident decisions and delivers insights you'll learn today in just a few hours. Okay, let's meet our panel. So if you could introduce yourself, your name, your grade, your school if you would like, and also your favorite brand or product today and why. And we'll start with you, Finn.
So my name is Finn. I'm 17 years old, and I go to Severn School. I live in Annapolis, Maryland. And my favorite brand is, they're called Steam. They're basically, you download games. They're on computers, and I've always felt that they've been very reliable. Their customer service is great. If you can refund a game if you've played it for less than an hour, and they're very clear, and I feel like out of all the services I've used, their customer service is the best, and that means a lot.
Hi everyone, it's so nice to see you all. My name is Clare Ehnes. I am going into my junior year at the University of South Carolina. I'm involved in the National Retail Federation there, along with our fashion board and retail advisory board. I'm currently living in the city this summer, interning for Cynthia Rowley, and it's been such an amazing experience. I would say my favorite brand is Rhode Beauty, who was recently acquired by e.l.f. Cosmetics, so I'm super excited to see what they do together. And they're my favorite brand just because I think that they do a great job of blending their products with community and really making the consumer feel like they're a part of something larger than just buying a specific product.
Hi everyone, my name is Dahye de Givenchy. I am a recent MBA graduate at Columbia Business School, and that's how I met Andrea. I barely make the cutoff as a Gen Z, but I'm more of a zillennial between millennials and Gen Z. At business school, I was very involved with the Retail and Luxury Goods Club, where I was the co-president, and later this year, I'm going to be going back into the workforce in beauty marketing. I would say that right now, this was really hard for me to narrow down, but my favorite brand currently is this niche Korean fragrance brand called Official Nonfiction, and I recently got one of their room sprays, and it's just like a very nice way to create a nice ambiance for when you're hosting.
And I'm Andrea Moore. I have spent the last 20 plus years launching and scaling digital businesses, primarily for omni-channel retailers in the fashion and beauty space. And I am a proud Gen Xer. I would ask how many people in the room are Gen X, but I think it would be like such a small, sad group of us that I won't do that. But my current favorite brand obsession is a Brazilian shoe brand called La Rude. I just think they create beautiful shoes, and they create a lot of them. They make a lot of styles, and I think it's a really fun brand. All right, let's jump in. So guys, how do you typically discover new brands and products? Is social media important, influencers, word of mouth, something else? Let's start with you, Claire.
For me, I would say the number one way that I discover brands is through social media. The top two would be TikTok and Instagram, and definitely through influencers. I know authenticity is definitely a buzzword, but I think that something that makes Gen Z really special is that they can pick out what marketing through influencers is authentic and what isn't. So when an influencer is promoting a product through multiple different channels of social media and also has the authenticity to say what product works and what doesn't, that's what really sticks out to me and makes me want to purchase a product. Also, if it's like a fashion influencer and they are, let's say, promoting this shirt, if they can show me different ways to style this shirt, or a broader sense, a different way to use a product across multiple different channels, I am going to buy that product.
What about you, Finn?
So for me, I'm not super picky about brands. Really, what matters to me is that I find what I'm looking for. And so what I do is kind of new, but I use like AI, I use ChatGPT, and I put in what I want. So like, for example, like I'm looking for a shirt that, for example, says my name on it, Finn, and it'll come up with, you know, different products at different prices, and it's really easy for me because like I have an idea of what I want and it'll find it for me. That's kind of newer, but that's what I like, and that's what a lot of my friends do.
Dahye, do you find social media important for discovery?
Yes, definitely. I definitely use ChatGPT more and more now, social media as well. I guess the only addition I would say is I think the stores are still a really important part of that discovery journey. And I think what's really exciting is to kind of pop into stores of very trendy neighborhoods, like in Manhattan right now, it's kind of like this area called Diamond Square, but you have these pockets where entrepreneurs and creatives start their own brand, their own business. Like there's the Marais in Paris, Seongsu-dong in Seoul. And I think it's fun to have that like in-store experience as well and really meet the business owners and the founders and get that passion and their story firsthand.
Let's see what our user testing panel had to say.
I kind of like ignore advertising on social media most of the time. I usually only, the way I find out about like new video games or stuff like that is on Steam, which is the primary place that I play my games. I'll just, you know, be looking through like the front page every now and then and see if there's anything interesting on there. But when it comes to other brands, I typically find about them through shopping at a physical store, like going to Walmart and just looking at what they have while I'm doing my normal shopping.
But I would say usually through social media and like people making posts, they're like, whoa, trying out this new thing. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. I want to learn more about this.
I put in actual research into like the product's quality itself, rather in the like I will take like friend and family's like word of advice because like, you know, I trust their input. I don't think I necessarily care about like social media influencers. I don't care a lot for advertising. Like, if anything, getting shown ads for a product will actually make me less likely to buy it.
I typically discover new products through television, through social media. There's been some people, like quote unquote influencers or whatever that's supposed to mean, that I've seen online with different products that I did use before, and that's about it. I don't really do word of mouth. I'm more of somebody of a visual type of guy. I need to see the product. I need to read about it.
Okay. All right, next question. Do you feel loyal to any specific brands, and what makes you stick with a brand versus trying something new? What about you, Finn?
So I typically stick with brands where I know what I'm getting. If they're really clear about, you know, what I'm getting, how long it'll take, what it is, I tend to stick with those brands. I think for me, the quality matters, but really, if I know what I'm getting, it doesn't have to be like super high quality. As long as I know what quality it is, how much it is, as long as that's clear and I consistently, what I see online is what I'm getting, then I'm loyal to that brand. I stick with them.
Got it. Dahye, how do you feel about brand loyalty?
Yes, so I'm personally definitely a brand lover. I worked in brand strategy prior and will be going into brand management. So I love brands, but I'm not necessarily brand loyal. I just find that entire discovery journey of, you know, going on social media, seeing what other people have to say about it, and then going in store, trying it on, or swatching it, that whole journey is almost like a hobby. So for example, if I like run out of my current favorite concealer, I won't necessarily go out and buy the exact same shade and brand. I'll kind of explore. But that isn't to say that, you know, with that brand of concealer, I might be more open to now trying a blush or a lipstick. So I think it's still important to create that brand with the quality, but I'll likely explore for the same category I'm looking for.
So loyal, not loyal. It's basically what we're saying. Let's roll the video.
I have a variety of different things that I like and that I use, but I don't have a specific product or brand that I'm excited about or have overtly love for right now. If a brand is trustworthy in their product and there's and it's authentic and I've used it for a while, then I guess I would prefer that brand over something new.
So I'm very excited about Uniqlo. I think it's one of my favorite brands. A lot of my closet is Uniqlo, and I am always excited when they have offers, when they have deals. I think that their products are very high quality and very good prices, and they are there's a lot of variety in what they offer.
Okay, let's move on. So Claire, how much do influencers impact your purchasing decision, and how clued in do you feel if something is a pay-for-play sort of placement?
Yes, so as I touched on earlier, influencers really impact my buying decisions, but that authentic feel has to be there. I think when I know it's an ad, that really makes me not want to buy the product, even if I'm intrigued by it. So kind of that advertising through storytelling is what really draws me in. Again, if you can show the practicality and functionality of a product through an advertisement, then I'm gonna buy the product. But if it's a play for pay advertisement, I just don't wanna buy it. Like, I just can't, I just don't wanna buy it. And so I think that connection between the influencer and the person behind the screen watching the video has to be there. But then also just showing me why I should buy this product. And also that kind of brings in the sustainability element for me personally of, can I use this product in various ways? Can I wear the product in different styles to different events? That's when I am going to buy a product. And so, yeah, influencers are definitely play a big role in my purchasing decisions.
What about you, Finn? Influencers?
For me, not really. It's more if I see something online that I like, I'll take a look at it. Like if I see someone on Instagram on my page wearing, you know, a cool shirt or, you know, cool bracelet, then I'll take a look at it. But I would say a lot of my friends, and I mean, this is different, but I'd say generally for guys, that's not really a thing.
Mm-hmm. Less of a thing for guys. Yeah. Dahye, what do you think?
Yeah, I think, yeah, we're very good at being able to tell if something is pay to play. But at the same time, I kind of accept it. And sometimes it is helpful to see an influencer promoting a brand or a product that just launched because maybe I wouldn't have known about it before. And I also see these content creators and influencers as this is literally their career. So I totally respect that they need to, you know, make a living somehow. So I really just see that as a brand awareness vehicle. But what I find really interesting now and what I pay more attention to is some of my favorite influencers are now publishing on Substack, which is like a more long form, you know, more like journal way of sharing, and it's very reminiscent, and the age gap is gonna work overtime here, but of when I was in middle school and high school and when bloggers started to post on Blogspot and Tumblr. So it's really interesting to see that kind of return to this more long form content.
Interesting. So Dahye, sticking with you for a minute. So we talked a little bit about influencers. What about your friends or your social network? How much do you think that influences purchasing decisions?
Yeah, I think with Gen Z in particular, you know, it's all about personal expression, staying true to yourself, and having friend groups where, you know, you might have different aesthetics or styles, but you are still a cohesive group and you don't have to like fit into the mold so much. So in terms of sharing between friends, I think when you're on socials and scrolling, what I like to do with my friends is kind of share items that I think, oh, like this would look really cute on you, or, you know, you told me about this trip, here's a dress that I saw, and it's like a little gesture, a little action that shows that friend that you're thinking about them, and a small way to stay connected online.
Mm-hmm. Finn, what about you? Friends, FOMO?
Yeah, so for me, I would say friends definitely play a big part. I mean, especially the people you're around are the people you tend to be influenced by. And I'd say that, almost for everyone, though you may not notice it, the people around you, they will have an effect on you. And I think that's true with clothes, with jewelry. And I feel like I see my friends wearing things and I ask them about it, and then I go look it online, I may buy it. So I'd say friends, definitely. Social networks, that too, because people post and you see what people like. And so I would say both definitely play a big role.
Maybe more of a role than pay for play or influencers or
Yeah,
ads,
it's more like
in your opinion.
smaller things, like more like friend-to-friend connections online or in person, at least for me.
Yeah, and I think micro-influencer could be really valuable when you
Yeah.
think about it in that way and making a more intimate connection. Okay, here's a question we asked. Did I skip one? No. Here's a question we asked our user testing panel. And this is, I don't know if anyone was in the Gen Z panel yesterday, but there was a whole bunch of conversation about Gen Z slang. So we asked the panel, when a brand tries to be trendy and use Gen Z slang, is it cool or is it cringy? Let's see what they had to say.
I don't feel that I need to be making different decisions about where I shop because of the environment. I'm not a big tree hugger.
I like to pick up a piece of trash if I ever see it because, I care about the environmental impact. But when making purchases, it's not a big worry for me.
I have to keep throwing away things and stuff. I'm just adding to the landfill instead of just paying that little extra premium for clothes that will feel better on me and last longer so I don't have to throw them away as often and it'll be better for the environment overall.
So I feel like that was maybe not the right video, but I think the question, the question around that was about how people feel about sustainability when they're making purchasing decisions, which is also a very sort of important topic as we're thinking about the future. And maybe we'll find, I'm sure we have that video somewhere queued up as well. Okay, another question we asked here. How do you use AI to shop? Claire, you had a point of view about this.
Yes, so as Finn talked about earlier, ChatGPT has definitely been incorporated into how I shop, but a specific AI tool that I've recently discovered that has made shopping so much easier for me is Phia. It's Phia, if you guys want to look it up later. It's a great tool that does price comparisons when you're shopping and also shows different websites that you can buy from. And something that's really unique about it that helps my purchasing decisions is the sustainability aspect of it. It shows that you can buy specific products secondhand on Poshmark or Depop for a lower price tag, and also it's been gently used. So I think that really helps with circular fashion. So I would say that is my most used AI tool when shopping.
Dahye, do you have a point of view about this?
Yeah, so I'm also familiar with the tool called Phia. There's, I think, a lot of them popping up now. There's the one called Daydream, but I also think ChatGPT does a great job by itself. So I'm really excited to see how these applications and APIs improve over time, because I think right now, it's still at its nascency. So it does provide that product recommendation, like, comfortable wedges for graduation. But then you do have to go in and do that manual filtering by your style, the silhouette you're looking for, the material. So it still is time consuming in a way, but I'm really, really excited because I know that the models are going to get better and be more personalized to my taste. And I'm very much looking forward to that day where they really do give me the top 3 choices that fit my style.
Yeah, and I think there was a lot of conversation yesterday about how AI is powering search, and I think AI will just continue to be ingrained in the tools that we use, with search being very ripe for AI automation. And so I think there will be standalone tools, but there will probably also be search-embedded AI that will be kind of very meaningful to all of us as we continue to move forward adopting AI. Okay, another question for the user testing panel. The question we asked was, what are the most important brand attributes you consider when shopping?
Probably first quality, then price. Brand reputation is not so much, valued, but if I do see videos of people saying good things about a brand, not just the quality of the brand, but also the quality of customer service and culture.
It's usually comes down to price and reviews / quality.
Price and quality are going to be my top two priorities, as I imagine they would be for most people. Brand reputation for me, it matters more in certain like product areas, right? Maybe something like tech, or like, like automobiles, right? Where there's like, there's very established brands that I can, that I can trust. I can look at their history, stuff like that.
What about you guys? What are the most important brand attributes that you consider when shopping? Let's start with Claire.
The most important brand attribute for me would be, actually I have two. First of all, transparency, and second would be building community. When I'm buying from a place, I want them to be transparent about where the product comes from, how it's made, to just make sure that I'm doing my part to be a sustainable shopper. And then building community, as I touched on earlier with Rode, I love feeling like as I'm buying a product, I am part of a community that can connect with other consumers and something that's bigger than myself.
Dahye, what about you? What's important from a brand attribute perspective?
Yeah, I think I have to echo what some of the user testing interviewers said. It's all about price and quality, and I would say that Gen Z are definitely value seekers, and that doesn't necessarily mean we're price sensitive, because we are willing to pay a premium if we clearly see that the product payoff and the durability of it is really there. And I think that is exemplified, for example, with vintage being so popular amongst Gen Z, because, for example, a pair of vintage jeans sometimes is higher quality, it fits better, it will last longer. It's more expensive than the new one, but you're really looking for that price to value comparison.
Go ahead.
Yeah, for me, a lot of it, and it depends where I'm shopping, but if I'm shopping online, a lot of it is reviews. Like if people like the product, then I'm more likely to buy it. Price, I'm willing to spend a higher price if people liked it. I mean, and same with quality. If it's a good quality and people have said, I liked it, it fit me, it worked, then, I'm willing to spend more. So that really matters the most to me.
Pre-screening before you buy.
Yeah.
Okay, so our Gen Z experts, what is one thing you want retail companies focused on Gen Z consumers to know? Fan, we'll start with you.
Retail companies focused on,
What do you want them to know?
I would say they should know that Gen Z consumers are very, open, and they're open to looking at many different brands. And I think the way to attract them is to honestly give them something. Something trendy matters, but also something that's like good for its price. Because a lot of Gen Z consumers, at least like me and Claire and Anna, we don't have a lot of money. And because, we're young, we don't really have jobs, especially me. So for us, something cheap, but also still good quality. So really value.
Yeah. Claire, what about you? What is one thing you want retail companies to know about selling to Gen Z?
I don't know if this is just me and something that my parents ingrained inside of me as I was growing up, but I was always told that you should build a personal brand, like you are your brand. And I think that that is a lot of what consumers are these days, is they want to purchase from companies that are an extension of their personal brand and that echo and mirror their values. So I think that these brands should understand that Gen Z really values sustainability, they value ethics, they value quality, and then still, if possible, able to make it in a price range that's affordable for this Gen Z market.
So sustainability, quality, and price consciousness.
Yes,
yeah.
if it's
we
possible.
Want it all. Yeah. So Dahye, you're self-proclaimed millennial. What do you think? Like, what do you want retail companies to know?
Yeah, I think a combination of what Finn and Claire both mentioned. I think the only thing I would have to add is, back on the note of like, for brands who are established, should we use Gen Z logo? Is this cringe? I think, it's fine to want to be in the times and use the slang. If you want to go cringe, I think go cringe all the way. Like when, you know, there was a trend on TikTok of like boomers giving an office tour with Gen Z slang. Like sometimes it's so cringe that it works. But I think what Gen Z really want to see from brands is that you're really staying true to your brand values, and you don't have to contort it in such a way that it fits what you think we might like. I think it's just really stay true to who you are, really like almost like double down on your brand at what worked in the past. And I think within Gen Z, that niche and that cohort that will resonate will come to your brand and find you naturally.
Be who you are and be authentic. Yeah. Let's see what our video participants had to say.
I think you just have to appeal now more than ever to people's wallets. I think that providing a good product, people are becoming more budget conscious, and the eco-friendly, the sustainable part.
People that I meet in the store are just, I don't know, like I'm paying a lot for these clothes. These clothes are really expensive, but the service is not matching it. The interactions I have with people who are supposed to be representing the brand are not matching the quality or the, I don't know, image or messaging that the brand stands for. And it's just really disappointing.
I think people my generation, like I said, are very good at sniffing out BS and sniffing out when you're being contrived, and when you're just kind of straying away from your own like brand and original mission and vision. Because I think you don't need, for me at least, you don't need to use Gen Z language to really resonate with me.
To help show and include body positivity and, you know, inclusion for different size people, because obviously everyone's a different size. I hate it when they just show like one photo of the shirt and one try on just like some skinny lady or just like a perfect looking model. I think we need more inclusivity. We need to see the shirt and not on different angles, but on different body types.
Stop trying to like get in on like the in jokes and memes and stuff like that. Stop doing that. It's just, it looks bad. Stop doing it. It's not helping you at all. Just stop.
Let's go back on that question. Dahye sort of answered it a little bit. What do you guys think when brands try to use Gen Z language or trendy words? Is it cool or is it cringy? What do you think, Finn?
I honestly think it's really hit or miss. I think sometimes.
You think it's a miss?
No, hit or miss. Like
hit or miss.
Sometimes if it's subtle, you know, it's like cool, but other times it's just like if it's over the top, I don't know, it doesn't feel real. Yeah. I'd say if brands want to use Gen Z language, just be subtle about it. You know, just use it as like normally, as if, you know, you are Gen Z, and people will find it interesting and be attracted to it.
Yeah. What about you, Claire? Cool or cringy?
What was that?
Cool or cringy?
I completely agree with what Dahye said earlier. I think that that's why it's so important to have, you know, social media managers and people who are promoting these products to the Gen Z be actual Gen Z so that they can understand. But when people know that it is supposed to be a joke, like a boomer trying to talk in a Gen Z language, that's funny. I think that is a hit because it's like they realize that they're not actually trying, and it comes across as a joke, which is nice. But when people are being serious and trying to use it, I think that is when people in Gen Z find it to be cringy.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's like trying too hard.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't matter what generation you're marketing to. If you're trying too hard, it looks very obvious.
Yeah, and I think Gen Z also really, as I've said multiple times, again, I know authenticity is such a buzzword, and the user video said this too, we're able to tell when something is real and authentic and when someone's trying too hard, I think more than any other generation. So that's why I think that using the language, you have to do it the right way in order for it to be effective.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I add one thing?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that any brands, if they want to try and do marketing to Gen Z audiences, they should really, you know, if they know any people that are like, you know, around the age that they're trying to market to, 17, 20, they should really ask them. Like, that's something, what do you think would be good? And they'll have an honest response.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of the time.
Look how easy it was to collect this feedback online. Like, I mean, ask people what they think.
A lot of the time it seems like, you know, ads aren't really made by people in our generation.
Yeah.
And so I think even just like having one person like of our age to give advice, and the ads could be so much better.
Yeah, use social media tools, use AI tools, use all the crowdsource. I mean, there's review data, there's tons of
Or just
points
find someone, just like an 18-year-old.
Exactly. Maybe we're making it too hard on ourselves. Okay, we have one more question, and then we have a lightning round. We may have a minute or two for an audience question, so if you have a question, start thinking about that now. So you guys, you're the future. The future is now. I'm so happy that we have a broad span of age ranges here and various viewpoints. Your future employer might be in this room. You never know. What is one thing you want current or future employers of Gen Z folks to know about Gen Z employees? Maybe we'll start with you, Dahye, since you actually have more work experience. You probably have the most work experience out of everyone.
Yes, I'm the elderly Gen Z. Yeah, it's really interesting because I entered the workforce after college in 2019. So that was like fully in office 5 days a week, lunch with your team every day, happy hours on the regular. So, it was nice to have that experience to see what that world was like. And then the next year it was COVID, so we, very fast transitioned into fully remote work. So I was working remotely for about 4 years before going back to school, and now I'm going to re-enter the workforce in a hybrid setting. So it's really been interesting to be able to firsthand experience this change firsthand. And I think as I come back into this hybrid workforce, and then my Gen Z cohorts are entering the full-time workforce. Last year I did a summer internship, so I saw that happening. I think that output of wanting to work and wanting to produce high quality work is the same. The attitude is there, but I think the means to the end have definitely shifted. The attitude is more like, the work is gonna get done, it's gonna be good. Why stress so much getting there? Why have so many meetings? Why have so many rounds of revision when we have these AI tools at our fingertips? So I think that's the change of the means to the end and not the actual end of the quality output itself.
Claire?
Yeah, so actually going off of that, I think that Gen Z is not lazy, they just work differently. I think that for me, going into the workforce post-COVID, it's very valuable to, for me at least, mental health resources and stuff like that is not just going to be a soft skill, but it's going to have to be implemented for those Gen Z workers to feel valued and feel like a place that they want to belong. I think community is so important. I think that Gen Z is going to want to work for a place that they feel valued and they feel a connection. And then lastly, Gen Z, we're digital natives. We want a seat at the table. We don't want to just be doing the busy work. Leverage us, have those conversations. If you want to learn more about AI or how to appeal to a Gen Z audience, include us in those conversations. And I feel like once you put your belief in someone in Gen Z, they really want to work hard for you, not just to do the work to get a paycheck, but because they feel like they're believed in, and they also believe in the company that they're working for because of that community that they've created.
What do you think, Finn? I mean, if you can think forward a few years, maybe you'll have a summer job or an internship. Like, what do you think?
Well, I've helped my friend with his car detailing business.
With his what? Sorry.
Car detailing business.
Oh,
so
okay.
I've worked jobs, and I think that first of all, Gen Z people are very good with technology. I mean, you guys said that we know how to use technology, we know how to use AI, and that can, we can really leverage it. And then also what you said, like some older people are like, they don't work hard. But no, I mean, we want the same things as any other generation. So, and we'll work hard for it. I mean, there's always lazy people, so.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. The talented people rise to the top, always. Let's just do a quick sidebar on that. So what's important to you? Is it in the office? Is it not in office? Is it a combination? Like if you had to design your ideal workplace scenario, is it 5 days a week in office? Is it hybrid? Is it remote? What do you guys think?
I'm going to say something that I think might not resonate with all of Gen Z, but I think as you guys can tell, community is so important to me. And I think that you do your best work when you have a collaborative effort with your coworkers and feel like you actually know each other. So for me, I would want to be in the office 5 days a week.
Okay.
I know that that's probably not popular for most of Gen Z, but for me personally. And then also, when I was actually at the Delivering Good Women of Impact Summit, they talked about how Gen Z is going to be retiring later in life than any other generation. So we're going to be working longer. So in contrast to what I just said, I think that that's where that work-life balance comes in, that majority of Gen Z may want to take more time off. Maybe instead of like taking a long retirement at the end, they might want to take shorter breaks throughout their career path. That's kind of what I've been seeing, like, yeah.
Leave of absence, sabbatical, like focused, maybe it's very focused time in office and serious time to unplug outside the office.
And that's why I think those mental health resources being implemented are so important, just to make the Gen Z employees feel like they can do that and still do their best work.
Yeah. Finn, what do you think?
I think I'm still trying to figure out what type of setting I want to work in, but I think when I looked at the future, I just want to be working with people I like. So I think it's important that in a workplace, whether that be outside or in a building or in an office, that you're with people you like.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, these are the people you're working with, these are the people you're talking to.
Yeah.
So you got to
spend a lot of time together.
You want them to be your friends.
Dahye?
Yes, you know, I think the gift that COVID gave to all of us is that you can find the company that fits your preference now. So if you want to be fully remote, you can find those companies. If you want to be 5 days in office, you can find those companies, and you can also find things in between. So I think that optionality is very nice. I personally enjoy the hybrid setting because, again, I also think that FaceTime and that community in office is really key, and also that's what's going to keep me there long term. But I also see that, you know, for parents or people with disabilities, you know, there's so many reasons why you can't go to the office 5 days a week. So I personally prefer to have that kind of built-in flexibility in the hybrid setting.
Cool. Okay. So across the board, a gamut. But I think that's probably pretty standard for most of us. All right, let's do our lightning round. So we're gonna start with Dahye, and we'll do each question down the line. Okay, TikTok or Instagram?
Instagram.
Instagram.
TikTok.
Instagram.
Instagram. I think our video participants had a point of view on this too. Let's see.
TikTok or Instagram? I'd say Instagram.
Yes, TikTok or Instagram? TikTok.
Definitely Instagram because I'm used to it, and I sort of understand how much of privacy I want to have through the Instagram. TikTok has a lot of way to take my data, so mostly Instagram.
Okay. YouTube or Netflix?
YouTube. YouTube.
YouTube.
YouTube. Get ready with me or unboxing?
Get ready with me.
Get ready with me.
Get ready with me.
Okay. One thing you love about TikTok and one thing you hate about TikTok?
I would say the thing I love about TikTok is how it's genuinely funny and so unserious. So it's just like a good, you know, when you need to turn your brain off, it's there for you. But on the flip side, I think the algorithm is so addictive that I'll be in a rabbit hole and then it's like 2 hours have passed and I'm like, what just happened? So I don't like that.
Yeah, I completely agree with the algorithm being something that I hate, but it also is what I love because I think my For You page is so catered to me. It's I go on there and I'm like, okay, now I feel like I need to buy all of these things because this is exactly what I was looking for. Like this is the content that I love and that I want to watch, which is why it's so addictive. But I also hate that because I think that it's a continuous feedback loop and makes me kind of stressed when I'm on the app because I'm then like, oh my gosh, I need to buy all these things. And so sometimes I feel like I need to like literally walk outside and touch grass to recenter myself because I've just spent like an hour and a half on TikTok. And bought 4 things.
Yeah.
I would say well, what I like about TikTok is that it shows you smaller creators, you know, so you see, whereas Instagram might only show you like more popular, you know, people or accounts. TikTok shows you smaller and larger accounts, and I like that because I see, you know, different things, or I can see trends from like, you know, smaller, bigger accounts. I feel like I see more of a variety. What I don't like, I would say I don't like the comments. People can be like really dumb, but that's everywhere. So
or mean.
Yeah.
Mean comments.
Yeah.
Not cool. Okay, that's the end of our questions. We could probably take one question from the audience if anyone has a question. Can't really see, so you have to, okay. Loading.
Hello, great job, everybody. My name is Manny Jackson. I'm a sustainable fashion architect. I have a brand called Thread House. So the topic of sustainability was very interesting to hear from you all. One of the challenges that I have as a designer is trying to make that balance of price, affordability, right, as well as continue to keep things sustainable and keeping the manufacturer. I live in Los Angeles, so we hire locally. And so we have to be able to pay people affordable prices for the product that we make. So trying to figure out that balance between what you all were speaking of about quality and price and still being able to take care of people. What do you think is a sweet spot for sustainable brands to focus on being able to help match your needs as well as being able to take care of community and being able to build a business that's scalable as well? Sorry.
So it sounds like the question is, what is the sweet spot between these values that people have? Price, sustainability, quality, cool factor maybe. Like what's the sweet spot?
Yeah, so I would say marketing yourself as a sustainable company and being transparent with what you do have is going to attract the consumer that's willing to pay a higher price tag for those items. It's what they value as a Gen Z consumer, and I think that so many do value sustainability and also hiring locally. I think that if you're able to market that and showcase that to Gen Z buyers, they're going to be willing to pay a higher price tag because that's what they value and care about.
Either of you want to jump in?
You can go.
Okay. Yeah. No. Thank you for that question. I think back to everything we've been saying, the authenticity. A lot of locally produced brands show that behind the scenes of the design process, the production process, and show how involved that is, and you're employing your local community. I think that storytelling would be very powerful. And, like the brands that are currently, they have small shops in Dime Square, I think those are doing really well because they showcase that it's founder-led, creative-driven. So I would just really hone in to that.
I would say the most important thing is really for a brand to be authentic. Like know what you want to be and show it. That if it's clothing, it's a specific style, and you show that style. And for me, sustainability doesn't matter as much. Really, what matters is that it's cool and that the brand has a style. Because like when you wear that brand, that brand, you have a specific style. You have like a specific almost like idea you're trying to show. Almost, I don't know the word for it. There's a name, but I don't know.
Like creating community through wearing something?
Almost like, no, not a community, but you're showing like who you are really. And I think that every brand is showing a specific part about a person, and you just got to find that.
Cool. Well, that's our time. Thank you so much to our wonderful panelists. Give them a big round of applause. And thank you to you all.